let's talk about the rumored plans for WWE SummerSlam 2024 and what the meeting between Tony Khan and Shane McMahon could mean for the wrestling industry. Huge news that could impact WWE, AEW, and the wrestling world dropped on Wednesday. According to reports, Vince McMahon's son, Shane McMahon, met with All Elite Wrestling's Tony Khan earlier this week. The meeting got a decent amount of buzz on social media, and many of those in the industry and who discuss pro wrestling were debating whether Shane would be joining AEW, and if that would be a good thing. The talk blew up enough to the point that McMahon himself put out a statement. For now, it isn't clear what went down in the meeting, nor how serious discussions between the two parties truly were. Still, there is a lot of speculation regarding what may happen as a result of it. Let's break down the outcomes that could come from the meeting between McMahon and Khan. This includes a massive inter-promotional show, Shane joining The Competition, and more. Number 1, it could just be publicity for both Shane and AEW. When it comes to Tony Khan and Shane McMahon's meeting, the two could have been doing just that. The pair may not work together at all. Instead, Tony knows meeting with Shane will get eyeballs on his programs, such as Dynamite and Collision. Meanwhile, McMahon likely wants positive publicity given the issues facing his family, following allegations made against his father, Vince. With the two meeting, it could help both parties even if nothing happens moving forward. Number 2, he could work for All Elite Wrestling. The other end of the spectrum is that the meeting was very purposeful and with the intention of the two working together. Shane McMahon has been with WWE his entire life, at least when it comes to his time in pro wrestling. So this would be a massive move. The big question, of course, is what Shane will do. McMahon is in his mid-50s and hasn't ever truly been a full-time wrestler anyway, much less now. As a result, the former WWE name won't likely wrestle often, if at all. Shane could become an on-screen authority figure. Many AEW critics believe that Tony Khan doesn't work in an on-screen role thanks to his lack of experience. If Khan agrees with the sentiment or at least listens to the discourse, McMahon could become a commissioner or kayfabe matchmaker for the company and replace Tony in the role. Number 3, Shane McMahon could use the meeting as leverage to return home. The wrestling world is very much a political minefield. To succeed, one typically needs to know how to play the game and get as much leverage as possible. Shane McMahon, having spent the bulk of his life involved with the business, knows this all too well. As a result, his meeting with Tony Khan may not actually be about going to All Elite Wrestling. Instead, there is a chance that McMahon has used the meeting to get leverage and possibly return to WWE under the TKO umbrella. Currently, McMahon has zero power in WWE and TKO. In fact, nobody with the name McMahon has any. Shane knows, however, that his name has value. If he teases joining AEW, Nick Khan and Triple H may urge the higher-ups to get McMahon on board, perhaps even with a seat on the board of directors. Number 4, he could help forge an AEW-WWE working relationship. WWE under Triple H is a different beast than it was under Vince McMahon. Not only is the sports entertainment juggernaut making more money than ever, but they are constantly finding new ways to engage fans. One way the promotion has done this is by working with other wrestling companies. TNA, wrestling, and NXT regularly work together. Plus, the sports entertainment juggernaut is or has recently collaborated with Noah, Marigold, Bloodsport, and Reality of Wrestling. Instead of Shane trying to end up in AEW or pit the companies against each other, he could instead be looking to smooth things over between the two sides in the hopes of forging a working relationship. If done correctly, WWE and AEW could have an inter-promotional super show that would break all kinds of pro wrestling records. Could Shane be trying to make it happen? WWE stars who could crash SummerSlam this weekend. With only 7 matches booked for SummerSlam 2024, several top WWE stars have been left off the card in Cleveland. Top names including Jey Uso, Iyo Sky, Finn Balor, AJ Styles, Bianca Belair, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton aren't booked for the show. Not using some stars allows for surprises and big moments in title matches up and down the card. Bayley, Brock Lesnar, and Roman Reigns have made shocking returns to WWE at past SummerSlam events. Many anticipate the return of Roman Reigns or another big name. However, several full-time stars who appear weekly on Raw or SmackDown could make an impact. The next 5 WWE stars could crash SummerSlam this weekend. Number 1, Damage Keith returned to Raw this week. After a few years of terrorizing the women's division on both Raw and SmackDown, Damage Keith recently got a taste of its own medicine. Sonya Deville recruited Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler to her side to usurp the top spot. The new group now claims to rule Raw, shifting Dakota Kai, Iyo Sky, and Kairi Sane into the role of faces. The original trio could return to their roots with nothing to do at SummerSlam. Bayley created the group 2 years ago at SummerSlam, and the faction won many titles. As the role model deals with Nia Jax and possibly Tiffany Stratton, Damage Cutterell could make amends with the WWE Women's Champion by helping her fend off Jax and Ms. Money in the Bank. Number 2. A huge debut match is left off the SummerSlam card. Uncle Howdy brought the Wyatt Six to the masses following WrestleMania 40. The group has foundations as a spiritual tribute to the late Bray Wyatt. It consists of forgotten stars like Dexter Lumis, Joe Gacy, Eric Rowan, and Nikki Cross. Chad Gable has been the first target of the new faction due to his treatment of Alpha Academy members Maxine Dupree, Otis, and Akira Tozawa. Instead of booking the Wyatt Six for their debut at SummerSlam, they'll face Gable and the Creed brother on next week's Raw. If Master Gable appears in a backstage segment or in the ring, Uncle Howdy could unleash the dogs to attack Gable in Cleveland. It would give the intriguing new faction a presence at the event. Number 3. Ilia Dragunov comes to the aid of Sami Zayn. Braun Breaker has been relentless in his pursuit of Sami Zayn and the Intercontinental Championship. He lost cleanly at Money in the Bank, but has only ramped up his attempts to dethrone Zayn. Ilia Dragunov has tried to temper the former 2-time NXT champion as he's continued to assault Zayn and others. The two battled for a shot at the Intercontinental title with Breaker winning via stoppage. Breaker could still brutalize the former Bloodline member if he wins or loses. He wants to make a statement and win the title. The Mad Dragon could run out to end a needless assault and save Zayn from further damage. Number 4. Jey Uso doesn't have a role in Cleveland. WWE has only 7 matches booked for SummerSlam, so Jey Uso has unfortunately been left without a role over the weekend. Uso and Zayn might challenge Finn Balor and JD McDonough for the World Tag Team titles on next week's Raw. Some fans are disappointed that the Yeet Master isn't booked, but he could crash the show in a few ways. One could be to help Zayn fend off Braun Breaker. Breaker could snap if he loses to the champ for a second time. Another possibility could be to help Cody Rhodes against Solo Sikoa and the New Bloodline. Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa will certainly be present for the undisputed WWE title match, so Jey could come to the aid of his friend. Number 5. Finn Balor could influence 2 huge title matches at SummerSlam. Finn Balor fought Gunther in the main event of the final Raw before SummerSlam, but lost due to referee stoppage. The ring general continued to choke Balor after the bell, bringing out Damian Priest to save his friend. The Prince could be salty after what Gunther did to him. He could try to assault the Austrian star or betray Priest for a few reasons. Balor is mad that he lost to the former Intercontinental Champion and couldn't win the World Heavyweight title. Priest was able to win the title, so Balor could make an impact by crashing that championship match. He could also factor into Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan's bout over the Women's World Championship. Balor has benefited from Morgan's meddling and could feel some loyalty to her. If Dominic doesn't betray Mommy, Balor's betrayal could sting just as much. WWE SummerSlam 2024's massive rumored ending. SummerSlam 2024 is just a few days away, and the excitement among the WWE Universe is through the roof. The show is expected to be epic from top to bottom, with several huge matches. However, its success may largely be based on how the show ends. SummerSlam 2024 will be remembered fondly if it has a finish worthy of WWE's second biggest premium live event of the year. This would likely mean something big happening at the end of Cody Rhodes' title defense against Solo Sikoa. Could we get a return after the main event? It's certainly possible. So with that in mind, let's look at 4 possible endings to the biggest party of the summer. Number 1. Roman Reigns helps Cody Rhodes defeat Solo Sikoa. The most likely way WWE will end SummerSlam 2024 is with Roman Reigns coming back. But how will it happen? There's a chance he will appear near the end of Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa to even the odds against the New Bloodline. Reigns can stop Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, and even Jacob Fatu from attacking the American Nightmare, ultimately helping him retain the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Roman Reigns has a reason to stop Solo Sikoa from dethroning Cody Rhodes, following weeks of being called out by his younger cousin. This can directly lead to a feud between the two over who the real tribal chief is. Number 2. Roman Reigns confronts Solo Sikoa after the SummerSlam 2024 main event. The other way Roman Reigns can return, and potentially more likely, is after the match between Solo Sikoa and Cody Rhodes. He'd confront his former enforcer, as SummerSlam 2024 ends with a stare-down between Reigns and Solo. This can happen whether or not Sikoa wins the undisputed WWE Championship from Rhodes. Whichever scenario it is, Roman Reigns will likely not return alone. Expect Paul Heyman to accompany him, while Jimmy Uso might return as well. Number 3. CM Punk defeats Drew McIntyre. If Roman Reigns does not return to WWE at SummerSlam 2024, there's a chance Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa won't headline the show. Other matches feel bigger, none more so than CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre. Some might say they should be the main event even if Reigns returns. If Punk and McIntyre are in the final match of SummerSlam 2024, expect the best in the world to win. It is his first televised singles match since returning to WWE, which would likely mean a feel-good victory, especially if it is the main event. Seth Rollins might have a big part to play in the finish, too. Number 4. Dominic Mysterio betrays Rhea Ripley and sides with Liv Morgan. Another option for the main event of SummerSlam 2024 is the Women's World Championship match. Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan is one of the most compelling feuds on WWE television, thanks, in no small part, to Dominic Mysterio. As long as Roman Reigns doesn't return, the women could headline the show if a massive swerve is coming. Dirty Dom will likely betray Mommy during the match, revealing that he and Morgan were working together all along. The way she's treated him over the past couple of months could be an indicator that a turn is coming. It would be a heartbreaking way to end the show, but Dominic Mysterio turning his back on Rhea Ripley is a moment worthy of the grand stage. It's certainly not impossible. Number 5. The Rock returns at the end of SummerSlam 2024. There is one other way WWE can swerve us all at SummerSlam 2024 without Roman Reigns returning. After all, if Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa main event the show, the Tribal Chief will be expected to appear. But what if someone else shows up instead? The Rock hasn't been seen since he confronted the American Nightmare on the Raw after WrestleMania 40. The final boss promised that he would come after Rhodes at some point, without saying when. Now that filming for his movie The Smashing Machine is over, the Hollywood megastar could have some time to stop by in WWE. Lest we forget, The Rock pinned Cody Rhodes on night 1 of WrestleMania 40. He already has a claim to a WWE title match, which could be why he returns to confront the champion after the main event of SummerSlam 2024. This would be a true shocker, while also keeping intrigue over Roman Reigns' impending return.